Hi there. It is Monday. I think it's the 22nd or 23rd. We just had solstice. And I was going to do a VR to Mystic Man. And this is a new tarot tag that was called Let's Go Shopping. And she has a really cute little visual with it, but I didn't print the visual out. So I'm just going to go through the prompts. This was a really fun tag, and I hadn't been watching videos, and then I haven't filmed a video in a couple months, and I just decided I wanted to film one today. And so I looked for a tag, and I saw this, and this just seemed perfect. So the cool thing about this tag is it's like you go into town and you go to all these different places. And the first prompt is a bakery, and the prompt is a deck that is warm, familiar, and cozy. And when I go to the bakery, I like to get a little thing called a Josephine, and it's filled with like vanilla custard, and it's really crunchy on the outside, and you pour raspberry syrup on the outside. So I love those. And this deck is really cozy and sweet and very comforting, and it's very familiar because I've had it for a long time. And I think this deck is still in print, but I just think this is such a pretty deck, and I really enjoy this one. I guess I'll turn these. Oh, now I'll leave it like that. I love the colors. It's got a lot of softness in it, and it's really just sweet, and I think very pretty. And it always feels kind of cozy to me and just fun to be around. And it's soft and watercolor-like, and that makes it feel cozy to me, because I love that there aren't really defined edges in this deck. This is one of my favorite cozy decks, and the colors are so soft in it, and I just think it's super pretty. And I won't show you the whole deck, but I do really enjoy this one, and just think it's really sweet. So that is the Kei Love Tarot, and it comes in this kind of interesting box that has a little padding, and then in the inside there's always like a little stone, so it's really sweet. And another deck that I think is super cozy and very sweet and just feels always kind of warm and fuzzy to me is the Ember and Aura Tarot. And this is by Jamie Richardson. And I know not everybody loves this art, but it is very soft and comforting to me. I don't think she's making decks anymore, because I think something to do with her spirituality. But anyway, it's got these soft pinks and purples, and it's got the most beautiful soft pink, almost kind of like a rose gold, kind of pinky sides, and then the backs are kind of a rose gold. And this deck has just always been a very comforting deck. It's warm and soft, and it's very purpley, but it's also got a fair amount of warm pink in it, which I think is just beautiful. And it has this gentleness to it. And I enjoy playing with it and reading with it. And it's not everyone's favorite deck, but for me, it's a good one. It's unfortunately out of print, though. Okay, so that is the Ember and Aura Tarot. I love the death card in this one. I just think it's so cute. Okay, next prompt is the Candy Shop, a deck that has bright colors and is sweet and fun. And for that, I picked the Elf Tarot. This deck is also out of print. It has a really cool box. It went out of print, oh my gosh, 20 years ago. No, maybe in early 2010 or something. there are a lot of fakes of this deck out there. So that is one thing I will say. But this deck is just such a candy shop deck. And candy shop, if I went to the candy shop, I'd probably get Swedish Fish. The kind that has all the colors, not the licorice kind. But I always think this deck is super cute. And the printing on this deck is just beautiful. It's really clear. The cardstock is really nice. I do really like this deck. It is a little bit smaller than normal tarot size because I think these paintings were smaller and not big paintings. So one thing about printing is if you have a print that's like a 5x7, you almost can't, when you make a copy of it, you can't make it that same size. You have to reduce the size so that it stays clear. And they did do a really good job of making sure this deck was really printed nicely and very clear and just really cute. It isn't a different size than you normally see for a tarot, just because it's more of that Fournier size, and it's also a little bit narrower than a normal tarot deck. But this is a deck that I just think is total candy shop, total cutie, and just a very sweet, fun deck to use. So that is the, what's it called? That is the Elf of Heaven Tarot. And then there's the original card. Another fun candy shop deck that I love, that also could have fallen into my comfort decks, is this Dame Darcy Mermaid Tarot. This is the first edition. And I put it back in order the other day because I was comparing it to the other two editions. So I think it's in order. So this is a really pretty, fun, comforting deck. It is different than the newer editions now, but I love this deck. It's got these soft, sweet candy pastels, and I take it with me when I go to the beach, and I play with it all the time. It's a comfort deck, but because it has these candy colors, I just thought it was good for this prompt. I really love this one. This is just a comfort deck and a candy deck, all in one. And I think it is very cool. I love the vintage vibe of it. I just think it's super pretty and just feels so unique. I don't think there's anything like this. It has that very, like, kind of almost rockabilly, vintagey, kind of reminds you of tattoos. So it just, but it's not a tattoo style. It's just this cool, I don't know. I love it. I think it's super awesome. And that is the Dame Darcy Mermaid Tarot. And the new one, the new version, is also amazing and cool and beautiful. They're all really cool. This just has slightly different images, and it's just got a little bit different coloration. So that is the Dame Darcy Tarot, or Dame Darcy Mermaid Tarot. The next prompt is a green deck or an herbal deck. And I picked one that is kind of green, but also kind of herbal-y. And when I go to the flower store, I often end up getting peonies because my peonies bloom in April and May, and then sometimes a little bit in June, but it's usually too hot here by the end of May. And so peonies don't like it super hot. And so they're usually done blooming by the end of May, but they're so brilliant in late April, early May. They're just spectacular. So that's what I get at the florist. This is the Jonasa House 5th edition. I love this deck. This version is out of print, but she comes out with this deck all the time in different color pathways. And this one feels very, very herbally, like flowers and gardens, and it feels very green and very much of an herbal deck. So this was based on a Marseille system by Jodorowsky, but it is not a Marseille deck. It reads more almost like an RWS because it has illustrated pips. So it doesn't really read like a Marseille, but it was based on that. So it has that vibe and that flavor. So, and all of them feel kind of that way, but it is really pretty. And this is one of my favorite decks. I just absolutely love it. I love the way she did everything, and I love her art. And I just think it's kind of magical. I love all of her decks. But, like, that's the perfect representation of a green herbal deck, right? Anyway, this color is out of print, but I see them around fairly often. I think there were a fair amount of these printed, so it's not an impossible deck to get. Just keep your eye out if you want this one. But there's also new colorways that come out all the time that are just beautiful. So that is the Jonasa House 5th edition. And the next one that I brought out for this tag was the Green Gold, an ancestral plant spirit deck. And this is an oracle, and I think it's my only oracle I have. But this one I saw on Rose Honey Rituals channel, and I just fell in love with it. And it is so beautiful. It is an oracle that's organized into suits, and it's plants, and it's just got so much green. I just think this deck is so beautiful and so fun and so spring. I use it in the spring, but it's also very summery. And I think this one's still around, and I love it. I just think it's just super unique, and it just goes with, the green goes so well with the pictures. And it tells you the name and of everything in cacao. A farm right up by ours grew cacao, still grows cacao. And we used to go up and we'd get to pick some of the cacao pods. And we would take people up there on tours when we did the chocolate festival. It was so fun. I love cacao and lemongrass. And anyway, these are just, I think, very cool plants. We have lots of mangoes and orchids in Hawaii. Avocados, obviously. This has a lot of tropical plants in it, which I think is really fun. Papayas, Hawaii papayas are the very best ever. Nettle I grow here. I have palms in my backyard. Anyway, mandrake. I'm trying to grow mandrake. It's hard to grow. So this one's cool, and I love it. All right, next prompt is the pet store, animal or nature-based deck. And if I go to the pet store, I'm probably not going to get anything because I have a cat. Well, we have one cat now, but that's enough for right now because it's hard to travel with pets. So this is the Tarot of Animal Lords, and I love this deck. It uses anthropomorphism to attribute human traits to the animals like Chris Ann's deck does. So I never got the new one by Chris Ann because I had this one and I just thought I don't need two decks that do kind of the same thing. Chris Ann's deck is really fun, but I already had this. I love it. It's fun to use once in a while. I don't use it a ton. I think it's really funny, and it's also really silly because you just have like these bodies with animal heads on them. And I don't know, it's pretty silly. But it's cool. This is the old style one. There's a new one that you can get now. Either one of them would be fun to use, but I don't think that I use this as much as some other decks I have. but I still like it, and I still have fun with it. So I think it's really cool. Another pet store deck I have is the Animal and Botanical Tarot. I don't use this one as much as I would like to. I don't know why. I really love how beautiful this deck is, but it's almost more of an art deck for me. And I don't know. I think maybe it's because I don't know if I relate that well to these animals that are up close. Like, I don't know if I relate the hermit to, I don't know what animal that is. I don't remember. And so I love the deck, and I think it's really pretty. But I don't think I know enough about the animals to understand their relationship to the tarot. Because a lot of these animals I just don't know that well. Some of them I'm not even sure what they are. And so as a tarot deck, I don't know if it makes as much sense to me, but I do think it's really pretty and I enjoy having it. But as far as use, I do not use this deck a ton. I don't know. I just like it because I think it's pretty. But if I had to get rid of something in this category, I would either have to learn more about these animals and why they represent these cards. I mean, obviously the devil, I get that one. The tower, I get that one. Nine of Pentacles, I don't know, maybe. Some of them I get. Five of Cups, I don't know how that relates to Five of Cups for me. But that's just because I don't know that much about that fish. So, and the Chariot, these are pretty slow moving creatures. Anyway, I do love it, think it's pretty. I use it just for fun, but I have to use the guidebook with this because otherwise I have no idea. So I use it less because of that. But still like it, still think it's pretty. Okay, this is a deck I have a ton of history with. It is the Fantastical Tarot by Nathalie Hertz. It's by US Games. And I got this deck. You know, first of all, I saw it in the store and saw the box and immediately like, oh my gosh, what's that? That's so cool. And then I got the deck and I was pretty much obsessed with this deck for maybe 10 years. I just fell in love with it. And I was reading for other people at the time. And if they didn't want a reading with this deck, I almost didn't want to read from them. And I was just like, what's wrong with you? I was very young. And then I sometimes would give them a chance to use another deck like the Cat People Tarot. But I was hesitant. But I just absolutely love this deck. And I read with so many people with this deck. I have so much history with this deck. And because I used it so much and was so obsessed with it for so long, I then put it away for, oh my gosh, I bet 10 years. And I thought, okay, my time with this deck is done. I'm over it. I'm not going to use it anymore, but I'm not going to get rid of it because, you know, I love it. But I'm done reading with it. I don't need it. And then I got it out again. I don't even know, not that long ago, within the last 4 years, and fell in love with it all over again. And I use it a lot now. I think it's so cool. And a lot of those old feelings came back. And it's just funny how you can put something away for that many years and then one day get it out and love it almost as much as I did back then. And so this is a deck I just have so much history with, and I really, really enjoy it. Fantastical Tarot. And it's out of print, but it's pretty easy to find. And another one that I have a ton of history with is the Barbara Walker Tarot. The Secrets of the Tarot, but everybody calls it the Barbara Walker Tarot. We carried this in this magic shop I used to work in. It was kind of like a magic shop clothing store, and I worked there probably late 80s, early 90s. And this deck, we carried this deck, and the owner of the store was friends with Barbara Walker. And so we got this advanced copies ahead of time, and it was just cool. And my friend and I read with this one so much. I used it so much of the time. And this was another one I just absolutely loved. The only thing is this deck is kind of mean, and it just like hits you upside the head. It does not always give you the answers you want, and sometimes it's kind of harsh about it, but it is a good reader. And like, I do have a ton of history with it over years now. This one I never did get tired of, and I still use it all the time. And I never had a period of time where I was just like, oh, I'm done with this deck. I never felt like that. I think because I read the guidebook a lot, but I could read it without the guidebook. It was my deck that I used for myself. This was the one I didn't really use with other people when I was doing a lot of readings for others. I would use my Thoth. Sometimes I would use the Fantastical Tarot of the cat people, but I didn't really ever use this a lot with other people. I mean, sometimes I did, but this one I just have so much history with. Those are the backs, and I really love it. Oh, and I forgot to say, if I go to an antique shop, I'm going to buy furniture. Next, and also probably look for old tarot decks. Next is Art Gallery, and that is a deck with your favorite art style. So I have two. I have the Spolia, which I love because it's like collage, and I do enjoy collage. This is like a Minchiati, and so you have the signs here. But I particularly like this kind of simple collage of the Spolia. And so this is one of my favorite art styles. I really love this deck. And I just love the way they did the collage in this deck. This one's out of print now too. I think I should leave something at the beginning of the video saying there's lots of out of print decks. Anyway, I do enjoy this one. I think it's beautiful. I'm sure you've seen this a ton. I think it's cool. I haven't really seen anything like this. Like, as many decks as I have, I don't have anything that's similar to this, which is interesting to me. It's just kind of unique style and just really special. And I definitely think it's one of my favorite art styles. I do just love it. It's an interesting way to collage. And it's most of the time it's pretty simple, but really well done and beautiful. And I'll show you a few of the cards from the astrological signs. So it's not really, is it? No, I don't think, it's not a true Minchiati, but it's close. So there's some of the signs. And then it does have, I'll just show you all these because there's not that many. It does have air, fire, water, and earth, which is kind of cool. I keep these upside down in case I just want to use it as a tarot. All right, and another favorite for art style is my Tarot of Delphi. And this deck was kind of the first, it was kind of the first of the curated art decks. And it really tied the painting in with the meaning of the card in this way that I've really never seen another deck do. And so for that, it was really impactful for me when I got this deck. It is out of print now, of course, and hard to find, but there are a lot of curated art decks now. You can find a ton of them. I just always appreciated how well each of these paintings tied in with the meaning of the card. And this has probably been one of the most famous curated art images for a high priestess. And I think for sure it's because of this deck. Everybody saw that, loved it, and then copied it and did the same thing with their high priestess. And so you'll see a lot of these paintings in other decks now, but at the time that this came out, it was just, you didn't see that. It was just a new thing. And I love the style in this deck. I just think it's gorgeous. A lot of John Waterhouse and that style, but I love that, like the Six of Wands, we have 6 actual wands from the painting. And the meaning of the painting means so much to the tarot card. It's just tied together in ways that, to me, were quite amazing. So, this was also a favorite art style. There's a lot of these decks that are curated art decks now. So, they're easy to find now. But I picked this one because it was my first one. It was the first one I remember seeing that really did this type of work, and I love it. All right, next prompt is Hair Salon, a deck that wants you to be your best self, most beautiful. And for this, I picked the Lioness because I feel like the Lioness always wants me to be my best self. It's filled with roses and stars and the universe and the cosmos, and it'll give like animals crowns and keys and things. And I feel like the way this deck was created, it was just kind of meant for you to use it and be your very best self. And it's probably in my top 10 of my, I don't know, you know, there's so many decks I love. All my decks are my favorite, right? Sometimes you feel like that. But this one, just, I really, really enjoy it and love it. And it's really special to me. And every time I ever get it out, I got it right when it came out. And ever since, I have always just enjoyed using it and loved it and never gotten tired of it. And never lost that joy. For this deck, I always just, like when I pick it up to use it, I'm always excited to use it. And there's never like a time where I'm like, oh, I'm not in the mood to use that deck. And so because of that, I feel like this deck does want you to be your most best and beautiful self. And I did take some classes from her. Alejandra Leon talked about why she chose certain images for certain things in her classes. So it was kind of fun to take that and learn about that. I don't know if she's doing those classes anymore, but I don't know. I just think this is a gorgeous deck. It's really beautiful and special. I feel like I try and be my best self when I'm using this one. And I feel like when I use this with other people, they also feel like they want to be their best self. And the next prompt is the Toy Shop, the deck you're going to play with next. And for me, that is going to be the Tarot of Ceremonial Magic by Lon Milo Duquette. I'm going to Nauticon in July, and it's my first time going, and I get to hear Lon speak. And so I thought, you know what? I'm going to use the Tarot of Ceremonial Magic. I have used it in the past a little bit, but I thought maybe I'll just dive into this and really study it because it's got a lot of information, and I thought that might be kind of exciting. And so this is going to be my July deck that I'm really going to dive into. And I'm actually really excited. I might start soon learning about this one. And I think it's really cool. And it does have a lot of information on the cards. And I'm sure you've seen this. I love that the Seven of Cups is martini glasses. And I just think it's going to be cool. This one will be fun. It is my deck that I am excited to use for July. Or it's one of them. I have another one I'll show you that I'm also thinking about using. But this one is my for sure deck that I really want to use. That I think will be just cool. So, Tarot Ceremonial Magic by Lon Milo Duquette. And this was out of print, and it's back in print now. You know, sometimes that happens. You'll see something go out of print, and then it comes back in. And then the other one is the Adrian Tarot. And this is a really unique deck. And I think it's just cool. It's got really fun colors. It's kind of got these candy cane colors or candy shop colors. I guess I could have used this for the candy shop. Anyway, I thought I would try using this one. I've had this deck for a really long time and I never hardly use it. And I look at it on the shelf all the time and I'm like, why don't I use that? Because I like it. So I'm going to pull this one out and maybe use it a little bit. Probably not much as tarot for ceremonial magic, but it's unique. I don't know if this is in print or not, but it might not be very popular. Either way. But I love some of the colors in it. So it seems fun. So I'm going to use it. And I'll let you know how it goes. But kind of different. So this is a very fun tag. And I liked that it was short and I could handle it. Because I've barely watched anything on TarotTube for a couple months. And I just thought it would be fun to do a tag and maybe kind of get back into things a little bit. And just kind of have some fun. And I thought this would be a good way to start. And so I picked this really fun tag. Like, Let's Go Shopping from Mand. And her channel is Mystic Mand. Oh, I forgot to put that on there. And this on there. This on there. That's too many decks. All right, thanks for watching. See ya.